Okay, hey guys, it's the weekend, and so tomorrow's Sunday, and normally on the weekends I cook breakfast for my kids, and even during the week, in the summer months and all that. So I'm going to be making them a French toast casserole for tomorrow, and this particular casserole is going to sit overnight. So this is Saturday night. I'm going to go ahead and get their French toast casserole going. I'm going to be using this brioche thick sliced bread. I find that that thick sliced bread works a lot better with French toast recipes and stuff. And so you're going to want to get an 8x8 Pyrex dish, or you can do a 9x13 because you can double this recipe. I'm going to be using 10 slices of bread. If you want to use a 9x13, then you're going to want to have about 20 slices of bread. And like I said, I'm using brioche, but you can use French bread or any bread that you may have at home. I find that the thin cut bread, like the brown, wheat bread, white bread that's kind of thin, it doesn't work that well. It's a thicker slice that tends to work better with French toast, but you can just use whatever you have on hand. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and paint some butter on my 8x8 inch baking dish. And you just wanna make sure you get your butter, use some room temperature butter, and just get it along the sides and on the bottom of your baking dish. And like I said, if you don't have thick style bread, you can just use whatever you may have available. Sometimes you can't just run to the store and do this or that, and all you have is a certain kind of bread available. Just use that. It's not, it's not a big deal. Just be easy with yourself and it's gonna be fine, okay? All right, and then next we're gonna take out 10 slices of this bread. And if you have some kitchen shears, it works a lot better and it's a lot quicker. You can just cut your bread into triangles. And then we're just gonna place them in your casserole, your 8x8 inch casserole dish. Okay guys, so now we've got our bread arranged, and if you can see how I have it here, like I've got one in front of the other. So we started here and there's one there, and then just kind of overlapping it, just right there. And since my end pieces are really thin, I just place those here in the front, but it overlaps beautifully. So we're gonna set this to the side, and then you're just gonna need 4 eggs, okay? And I'm gonna use my stand mixer. You can use a hand mixer, or you can hand whisk if you would prefer to. It's just easier. I can hand whisk the eggs and a little bit of milk, but we're gonna be using a lot of cream and a lot of half and half for this, and so it's just easier to use a mixer because of all the milks that are gonna be involved. Okay guys, so we've got these eggs whisked together. So to that, we're gonna add 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. And we're gonna add half a cup of half and half. And I'm going to increase the speed just a little. All right, and then to this, we're gonna add 1/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg and 1/2 a teaspoon of cinnamon. And that's ground cinnamon. And we're also going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. This is all gonna be added to our egg custard for the baked French toast. All right, y'all, so now we're gonna pour our custard on top of our French toast, our bread for our French toast. And it smells so good. And just be sure, because tomorrow, after your French toast has been in the fridge overnight, be sure before you go to bed to put out a stick of butter, because you're gonna need a stick of butter at room temperature for the topping for the French toast, okay? Or you can, soften it in the microwave if you would prefer. Okay, so you're just gonna pour the custard in these holes that are here along the edges of your French toast or of your bread, okay? We want to make sure that the bottom pieces get saturated, and then we'll go back through here and kind of press our bread down somewhat into the custard. Okay, and y'all make sure to get all of your custard out of your bowl too, all of your seasoning, your vanilla, your nutmeg. Try to get all of that out of your mixing bowl as much as you can. because that's gonna soak right on up into your French toast. It's gonna taste so, so good. So don't leave any of that goodness behind, the cinnamon, the nutmeg. Don't leave it behind. Okay, and so then we're just gonna press down a little bit and lift a little bit if you feel like that there's some of your custard that didn't get all the way into your, in between your pieces. Because it'll, when you lift it, it'll release some of the liquid and allow that to come and get on those pieces of bread, okay? Okay, guys. So now you're gonna get yourself some saran wrap, and that's my butter right there. Some saran wrap or cling wrap, and place on top of your French toast. If you see any places that are dry, just grab some of that milk and kind of put, or custard, and kind of put on those dry places, okay? Because I was noticing some of my pieces look a little bit like they didn't get a touch of the custard. All right, guys, I was just wiping my counter off. Okay, so we're gonna add, I'm gonna put some press and seal on top of my French toast. And then what we're gonna do is put some of this press and seal on top and place it in the refrigerator. And we are going to bring this back out of the fridge in 24 hours. So in the morning, and we'll make our topping for it and put it in the oven. So I'll see y'all back here tomorrow to put our topping on this overnight French toast casserole. It's gonna be excellent. See you tomorrow. Okay, guys, so it has been 24 hours since putting our French toast in the refrigerator, and now I'm gonna make the cinnamon like streusel topping for the French toast. I'm going to also pop a few walnuts in the oven and toast those. If you know that you have people that you may include with your French toast casserole that don't like nuts, you can just separate nuts out of the streusel topping, okay? Because that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just putting a few in the oven to toast for about 10 minutes for myself, and I'll show you all how to get those added. The majority of my household doesn't like nuts, so I'm gonna add mine on a particular portion of the baked French toast. So I'm gonna pop these in the oven at 350 for about 10 minutes. And now we're gonna start on the streusel topping for the French toast. So I wound up leaving a stick of butter out overnight. And so I'm gonna use this, you're gonna start off with 1 stick of butter. All right, and to that stick of butter, and I remember I mentioned that your stick of butter needs to be at room temperature. So to that, we're gonna add 1/2 cup of light brown sugar, and 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And then we're gonna add a tablespoon of dark Karo syrup. You can use light Karo syrup as well. I just have dark on hand, and so that's what I'm gonna use. Okay, and then you're just gonna get that all mixed together. All right, I've got that mixed together, and you can see the consistency that it should be. And you can, if you have a household or yourself, your own household that enjoys nuts, what you would do at this point is go ahead and add your nuts to this entire streusel topping and mix it together, and then add it to your French toast. But of course, I'm gonna hold off on adding my nuts until I get the majority of this streusel topping added to the French toast. So I just got this out of the refrigerator, and there it is. And everything is moist. There's nothing dry on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the streusel topping. And then you're just gonna spread that streusel topping all the way across the top of your French toast. And then while you wait on your nuts, if you decide to toast them, you're gonna reserve some of your streusel topping. Okay, so the nuts just came out of the oven. I allowed them to cool just for a few minutes though, because they were pretty warm. So I'm gonna go ahead and get them added to the streusel topping. And then I'm gonna add that to the section that I want nuts on for me, okay? And so you can see the nuts are still warm, so it's changed the consistency of the streusel topping. That's okay, it won't hurt it at all. All right, and so we're gonna put this in the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. All right, y'all, so this is out of the oven. I left it in there for 40 minutes. At 25 minutes, it just had a lot of, still had some liquid. So I'm gonna let this rest for just a few minutes and then I'm gonna plate this up. It smells magnificent. All right, y'all, so I'm gonna go ahead and get some of this with the nuts. Powdered sugar on here. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and taste this. And I did do another French toast casserole. I've got to upload that video. It's a recipe review of another YouTuber that did hers in a cast iron skillet. So I'll upload that one. Let me taste this. This is so good. And I don't even have any syrup on it. This is good. This one's even, in my opinion, better than the skillet when I did the review. I did the YouTuber. I did her recipe, and this one's one of my favorites, and this one is good. It's the recipe that we had growing up as a kid. It's better than this skillet. Anyway, cast iron skillet. Okay, guys, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get some syrup and get a piece of bacon, and I'll see you all back here for another episode of 234 in La Casa. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.